What's up? My name is John Bonjour. I am a comic artist and film enthusiast, and this is a continuation of my series Why It Should Win Best Picture, wherein I talk about all of the Bosco Best Picture nominees and discuss why it should win Best Picture. I feel like you probably caught on to what that was going to be. I feel like you probably get it. Today we are talking about Sentimental Value. Sentimental Value is the story of a family, the story of a father who can only communicate with his daughter through his own hobbies, and a daughter who absolutely hates that with every fiber of her being. It's also the story of a house, kind of. And this is an interesting film. I knew very little about it going in. I had the general understanding that it was the story of like a father who was a film director trying to get his actor daughter to be in his movie, but she didn't want to, so he hires another actress. That was really kind of all I knew about the project, and going into it, I expected it to be significantly more dramatic than it was, significantly more aggressive and loud and bombastic than it was. And I think what it ended up being is truly a beautiful, sentimental piece of filmmaking that I think is genuinely worthy of winning the Best Picture. There's a lot of reasons that I feel that way, but one very specific one is the performances. It's hard not to congratulate every Bosco-nominated movie for its performances, because if you're gonna get that far, it's probably gonna have a good performance. That's kind of a fundamental part of filmmaking. But as an attempt to nuance my opinion on this, at least ever so slightly, I will say Sentimental Value's performances are fully fledged, and there's something so special about how little they say out loud in the film. This is not a movie that would thrive on Netflix. There's this second screenwriting that we've all probably heard about at this point, where they write movies so that you can be on your phone and watching the movie. I'll tell you what, Sentimental Value is not one of those. There is so much that is left unsaid and yet spoken so clearly. Specifically with Stellan Skarsgård and Renee. I simply must start doing my research before I record these videos. The two lead performances in the film are so quiet and reserved, and so communicative in little looks, in the physical performance as much as it is the delivered lines. There is something truly special about the way that these characters feel like real human beings that have stories, that have history together. This feels less like a character and more like a person you could meet on the street. Would you like that person? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe, probably not, maybe. There is so much subtext to every line, so much depth in the deliveries, so much humanity in these performances that you forget these are actors and you start to just believe them. Which, by the way, casting Elle Fanning as the more famous of the actors playing, well, she is the more famous of the actors. I mean, casting her to play the more famous American actress coming in to step in for the role of the daughter is truly just brilliant. I mean, it's just like maybe the best piece of singular casting I've ever seen, because you see her and the moment she steps on screen, you just immediately feel that she is an actor. You feel that she is a performer, and not because she's doing a bad job. She does wonderful in this movie. I don't think I've ever seen her be bad in a movie, but she is extremely good in Sentimental Value. But something about the way that she plays that character, something about the way that and just recognizing her as a person, that plays on like a meta-textual level that I think is just really, really cool. That's a side note. That's not one of my three. Another thing that this movie really does have going for it, and it is in kind of conjunction with the performances, is the script. And I know I said that there's a lot of things unsaid. That doesn't mean that the script is reserved. It doesn't mean that there isn't a lot of script. There is so much dialogue, so much text in the film that has to pull its own weight. And I think from everything from the opening monologue about the house, which is just gorgeous, to these long like soliloquy, these long dialogue conversations, these things that require the performances and the writing to both be on the same level. This is a script that knows exactly when to push and pull. It knows when to not say, it knows when to say. It knows what needs to be spoken and what needs to kind of come back and reverberate in the reader's ears. And it is so impressive to me that they're able to accomplish what they are. It's a movie that leaves you thinking more about legacy and generations and family and time than almost anything else I've ever seen. And I don't honestly know how much of that is in the physical text of the film and how much of that is just implied and hinted at and suggested. It's just a beautiful script that relies so heavily on both the performances and the writing, and it all comes together in such a quiet, wonderful way. The third but not final thing that I think really stands out about Sentimental Value comes down to the way that director Joachim Trier provides a humanity to the characters. There is no villain, there is no evil person in this movie. It's all people who are trying to make it, trying to do their best, trying to survive, both emotionally and physically and career-wise. It's a movie that loves all of its characters and cares about the lives, the inner workings of their mind and their existence and how they fit into the long-running text of society. It's a movie that really humanizes its characters. And because of that, all of the drama doesn't come from betrayal or plot. It comes from wanting these people to understand each other on a level that is deep enough to get them through the barriers that they've put up. You see our main character bristle at the idea of being connected to somebody, and then when she tries to connect back to him, he's kind of like, no, I don't want anything to do with you. All of the characters are making potentially very bad moral decisions, and you don't feel like they're evil or bad for doing them. You feel like they're broken, and you feel like they're human, and it's so amazing how quickly I'm able to connect to these characters and share in these lives in a movie that, at the end of the day, is very slow and quiet. And it's a movie that I can't really fault anyone for feeling like is boring or just not good. I see why people, if you're expecting, if you like the kind of thing that is Marvel movies, or, you know, Predator Badlands from last year, or even One Battle After Another, this is not a maximalist film. This isn't a movie that is trying to be loud and trying to be super engaging. It's a movie that welcomes you in with open arms, but quietly and lovingly. And that is, to me, so impressive. I also, again, I understand why people might not be so hot on this movie, because it's a strange thing having to choose to connect to a movie instead of being just like pulled into it by the film. I think Sentimental Value is well worth your time. I do genuinely think, because of its quiet, somber, pensive kindness, I think this is a movie that deserves to win the Best Picture at the Boscos. Whether it will or not, probably it won't, but I think it deserves it. If you've seen the movie, what did you think of it? And if you haven't, what is your favorite Christmas carol? Thank you so much for watching this video and checking out my channel. If you like this and want to see why I think every other movie should win Best Picture at the Boscos, I am doing a series, don't forget, on all of those other films, so go watch those. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and or do none of that, because I am simply just not your dad.